Hey guys, Dr. Nathan Warren here. I just wanted to take a second and actually go over one of the biggest things I get asked on a weekly basis by patients and clients that we coach. And that's, Dr. Nathan, why do I have to cut out wheat? And do I have to do that forever? And is wheat really as bad as I've heard in the news or in different articles that I've read? And the answer to that is yes and no. And so I'm going to kind of debunk a couple of things, and I'm going to go through some of the literature and why I coach patients the way that I do. So number one is yes, I believe there is a time and a place for every single person that walks through my doors, especially at the beginning of their health journey, to cut out gluten and wheat products. The reason why is because, again, we are trying to squash inflammation and we're trying to heal the gut. And what I know is that if the environment is off and a person that comes in with lots of different toxicities, issues with their nervous system, imbalance in their microbiome, we need to cut out some of those inflammatory foods in order to actually heal the overall gut and environment. And so yes, I believe there is a time and place for every single person that walks through my doors to cut out wheat and cut out things containing gliadin and zonulin and those type of things. So now, that being said, do I believe that there are certain people that can add it back in years down the road when they have a healthy microbiome and they've really kind of taken care of the gut, they've removed a lot of toxicity, and they built a healthy body up? Yes, but even those people that add that back in, I believe it's only in certain seasons, because we know our microbiome actually changes by the season. But also too, you need to pay attention to the source of the wheat product coming in. Again, wheat is not created equal the way it was even 100 years ago. Again, we know even organic sources of wheat can contain traces of things like glyphosate and other pesticides and herbicides. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention to that as well. The other thing about it is looking at something like a fermented sourdough, like a slow fermented sourdough bread, or even using some of the other cereal grains to create maybe a sprouted bread. In general, that might be a better option for most people. Now, what we also know, one of my favorite studies I think that was performed was actually in the Journal of Nutrients, and what they did is they looked at both celiac patients, so people that actually had an immune response and an inflammatory response to wheat. Again, it's kind of genetically predisposed there. They also looked at people who had gluten sensitivity, so non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and then they looked at a third group that again just seemed like they were not sensitive to gluten at all. And what they found is in all categories is that it opened up what's called tight junctions in the gut. So that means it actually created gut permeability. And that's one of the biggest problems dealing with things like gluten and gliadin, which actually stimulates zonulin in the gut, and it opens up tight junctions and it allows proteins to escape and create an immune and inflammatory reaction within inside of the body. And so that is one of the biggest reasons why I like to take everybody away from that, and I like to teach a lifestyle that looks at not introducing bread again if somebody can help it, and again if they're up to it. That's what I like. Now, do I believe that some people can reintroduce it? Again, like I said earlier, if it's a good quality source and if it's in minimal amounts, and more sticking towards like a fermented sourdough or maybe one of the other gluten-free cereal grains that are out there, and in a sprouted form and an organic form as well. But for the most part, learn to live mostly a gluten-free diet. Now, another thing and the last thing I'm going to talk about, gluten-free diets have recently been linked to things like an increase in cardiovascular disease, and I want to touch on that for just a second. Not all gluten-free diets are created equal. We see gluten-free everywhere in the grocery store, and if you look at most of those gluten-free products, they've taken out the gluten, but they've added in more sugar or more trans fat, bad, unhealthy fats. So again, just because you go gluten-free doesn't mean that you're going healthy. So gluten-free for me and for my patients looks like, pasture-raised meat or wild-caught seafood, as well as things like things like vegetables and good quality berries and fruits, and also consuming high amounts of nuts and seeds, that looks like a gluten-free diet overall, as opposed to gluten-free cookies and gluten-free crackers and those type of things. Now, if you are going to consume something that says gluten-free, make sure that it's whole food ingredients. So we like to use brands like Simple Mills, or we like to use brands like Lakanto and Swerve. They have some of the products that, again, would be considered gluten-free, but are coming from a whole food source. So just because it says gluten-free does not mean that it's actually healthy. And that's one of the biggest reasons I think they saw a slight rise in cardiovascular disease, is not necessarily because of the cutting out the wheat, but it's more because of all the other junk that's been added in, like the trans fat and the sugar. So that being said, guys, I believe there's a time and a place for all of us to cut out wheat and gluten. And if you can learn to live without it, life is better without it. If you reintroduce it, it should be from an organic source, either slow fermented sourdough, or again, maybe one of the natural gluten-free cereal grains that's been sprouted, and stick with that is a great thing to do. Make sure, guys, if you like these type of videos, please share it. Like and follow our page as well. Share it with friends and family. You never know how far reaching this information can go, and also too, just how much lives can actually change from this information. So please share it. Like us on Doctors Warren on our Facebook. Visit our website at doctorswarren.com, and I'll see you guys next time.